Green Bay, Pittsburgh. Let's break it down. Let's give you the full game preview and what the Steelers need to do to get a W against the Green Bay Packers in a game that they should win. A game that you look at on the schedule and say to yourself, that's a W. And that's what the Steelers need to get, a big W to keep pace in this AFC North and start to get some separation against some of these other teams that are all bottlenecked up at 5-3. And then you need to keep pace with those Baltimore Ravens who continue to win. And if you're the Steelers, there's some things that you can do to really exploit this Green Bay offense and defense. Let's start with the defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers and what they need to do in a game to where the Steelers need contributions from all three phases to play a real complete football game. And they need to be a real unit, a whole unit, a complete team as you move into two tough divisional matchups following this week. So this has to be a big confidence booster if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. And defensively, I think you've played well all year. You've given up a lot of yards at times, but you were able to get those stops. You were able to get those timely turnovers to get that offense back the ball. And I know the offense hasn't done a ton with it, but they were able to get these wins. And the Steelers continue to win. They have a quality record. And if you're the Steelers defense, you have to continue to do the same things. Control the run game. That's important. We say that every week. You have Cameron Hayward back in his second performance since he came back from injury. He played well against the Tennessee Titans. I thought that he had a big game against them. Maybe played a little bit too much for his first game back, but I think he had that nice 10-day rest since they played on Thursday night. And I think you're going to have a big performance from Cameron Hayward, Larry Ogunjobi, Keanu Benton. All those big-name guys in the middle of that line need to have a lot of contributions this Sunday to control a guy like Aaron Jones, who's had success against the Steelers in the past. But the Steelers now face him in his second game back from injury, as he had a decent performance against the Rams and was able to really get rolling, him and Jordan Love. But if you're the Steelers, you need to create exotic looks, confuse Jordan Love, keep him on his toes, keep him thinking. Keep him wondering where that pressure's coming from. Keep him wondering how that coverage is going to roll. And now if you're the Steelers secondary, you're going to be missing Minkah Fitzpatrick for the second straight week. I think you can overcome that against a team like the Green Bay Packers. Let's see how Neal and KZ in the back end at the safety position, how they perform. Are they able to step up and perform in a big way? Is Joey Porter Jr. going to be able to continue to shine and continue to grow? Those are all questions that we have, and hopefully they'll answer those questions because they have to have a big game. And you need to mix that personnel around. You have the loss of a Cole Holcomb at the inside linebacker position. You do have Quan Alexander and a Landon Roberts. But I think you still need to create different looks formationally, personnel-wise, to help out with that loss because it's going to be felt. Cole Holcomb was really playing good football for the Steelers. And it's a shame that he's out for the rest of the season because the Steelers linebackers, especially in that inside, look the best they have since the Ryan Shazier era, if you ask me. Then you have a TJ Watt and an Alex Highsmith who should really be able to feast in this game and really be able to get to Jordan Love. Is Zach Tom able to stop TJ Watt when he's really going? I don't think he is. I don't think he's up to that challenge. I think TJ Watt can have a big game-wrecking type performance. And if you're Jordan Love, are you going to be able to get that play-action pass game going? Is the run game going to be able to get going? Those are questions that the Steelers need to stop. They need to put answers to and say no. The Steelers can't allow that run game to go because that's going to open up that play-action pass. The Steelers can't allow him to have time in the backfield and be able to dance around and be able to find those open-type receivers. He needs to be able to be under distress the whole game if you're the Steelers defense. You really have to put the heat on him because I think that's where he's going to really fail. I think he's going to be forced into some bad decisions, and that's where you're going to get those timely turnovers. I think at times, too, you need to just take the pressure off a little bit and just allow your two edge rushers to go after him and drop a lot of guys in the coverage and force him into making good throws. Confuse this young guy. He hasn't played a lot of football in the NFL. So confusion is going to be the key. And if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you got to have a complete game from that defense. All three levels have to really, really play as one. And I think maybe try to limit those yards. Don't allow those soft catches in the middle and yards after catch. Control that type of stuff. Come up and be aggressive. The Steelers play a lot of man coverage, and I think you need to continue to do that this week. Continue to force that pressure. I think that's the formula for the Steelers defense to really get a solid performance. Let's move over to that Steelers offense, who's really had its issues, guys. We all know that. People in the comments are going to say Kenny Pickett's the problem. Matt Canada's the problem. Yes, we did a video yesterday. The slot receiver position is a real problem. And if you're the Steelers offense, I think that you have some opportunity here. I would really be worried about like Quay Walker. That would be like my biggest concern. But I think the rest of these guys, I think you could really exploit them. I think you could really do some good things against this Green Bay Packers defense, who's 19th in points allowed. They're averaging about 20 points a game, giving up 23rd against the run. And that's where I'm going to put my big time key in this game. I think if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you need to come out with Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris in that order. Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris, and allow them to really start to attack the edges, allow them to really start to bust that defense up and wear them down right from the get-go of the game. Start the bleeding in that run game, and I think that's going to set up a big second half for your Pittsburgh Steelers offense. I think it's going to set up big things for Kenny Pickett in the play-action pass game that you need to do more of. I think you have to do more of that if you're the Steelers, especially if that run game's working. I think you need to get George Pickens more involved if you're the Steelers, especially after last week with a negative 1 yard performance. Yes, he could have had the touchdown, but that's a what if. Who cares? But Kenny Pickett has to make this game one of those games to where we're not coming back in the fourth quarter. He needs to put up some numbers early. He needs to get this team ahead early. And you're going to have to play some tempo if you're the Steelers, in my opinion. I think you really need to put this Green Bay Packers defense on its heels. Keep them guessing. Be in big personnel a lot to where you can still pass out of that. Utilize that tight end room. Darnell Washington has to be more involved. He's an excellent run blocker, an excellent guy in the pass game, and I think you don't utilize his talents enough. Come out in those double tight end sets. Him, Hayward. Come out in 3 tight ends. Add Williams in there. Do some special things, guys. You can do that with the tight ends. And I think that they're missing a big part of their offense by not doing that. And again, yesterday we did that video about Allen Robinson and his poor slot play. I think you need to phase him out, and he don't need 50 snaps this game. Get him about 20 or 30, maybe at the absolute most, in my opinion. And mix in George Pickens and Deontay Johnson. Force them into the slot. Get them a little bit better matchups, especially George Pickens, who the teams have been liking to double. Get him in some more favorable one-on-one matchups against a linebacker or something like that. And allow him to have some yards after the catch, and really get him involved early and get his confidence built, because you really need Kenny, George, Deontay, and those running backs to have a quality effort, because they're facing some tough teams coming up here in the next couple weeks, and they need to get that identity built. They need to get in a proper flow, because these games aren't going to be easy, and you're going to need to score points, especially against the Bengals. You're going to need to score a lot of points, and I think if you're the Steelers, offensively, this is the game that you can really get on track. Kenny Pickett has to be more comfortable. I think now that you've found the right combination on the offensive line, I think that that's going to allow Kenny to be a little bit more comfortable and allow him to do some more things early. And if you get that run game going, especially against the team that is ranked 23rd in the run, I think if you get that going early, you're going to be able to get Kenny moving early. And I think that that's going to help. And I think you could score early and often. And I think you could set up big time things for the second half, like I said, with that play action pass. That is going to be key. You only have, 27 attempts all season with Kenny on the play action. That's not enough. This run game, now that it's moving, you had a 150-some yard performance against the Tennessee Titans. Utilize that. Build off of that. Take that to the next level. And if you're Kenny Pickett, you got to start being able to see the field a little bit better. The vision has been poor, especially in the first half. It's been poor. You got to recognize and not overshoot guys on those drag routes. If you're the Steelers, attack the middle of the field. But I think that that's going to mean moving a George Pickens, a Deontay Johnson, a tight end into that slot type receiver role to where you're dragging them across the field, hitting the middle. I think that's what you got to do. Quit being so easy to predict. You're attacking the edges. You run up the middle here and there, but you don't throw into the middle at all. It's a very vanilla offense, and I think you need to get more creative. And I think Matt Canada's done a good job. Last week, he was more creative, especially on Thursday night. He was really different, if you ask me, and I think he schemed some players open. I think Kenny just missed them, and maybe he wasn't used to it. Maybe he was like, damn, there's players open. But anyway, Kenny can't miss those open guys, and Matt Canada did an excellent job scheme-wise. That I thought he did had his best game as a Steelers coordinator, in my opinion, in the way he schemed that game up. And I just think now it takes that quarterback to execute, and I think Kenny Pickett will. I think this is going to be the game that he really comes out and takes command of this Steelers offense and really shows why he should be that franchise-type quarterback, that starter in Pittsburgh for the long term. I think you're going to really start to see it this week, and I hope to God we do. I've been predicting it all week. I think it's going to be a big, convincing win from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I said 34-10 was my score, is what I'm thinking, and I think it's going to happen. I don't think this is going to be one of those close games. I don't think it's going to be one of those fourth-quarter comebacks. I don't. I think the Steelers are really going to control this game from start to finish. I think they're going to really force Jordan Love into some poor decision making. I think they're going to be able to control the run game against Aaron Jones with the addition of Cam Hayward. I think they're going to be able to overcome Minka not being in the lineup. I think Joey Porter Jr. will have a big game. And offensively, I think Najee and Jaylen Warren are going to have a big-time performance. And I think Kenny is going to be able to start to shine. I think you're going to be able to start to use that play-action pass where they've really lacked this season. And I think and I hope the Steelers are able to recognize that Allen Robinson is a hindrance, is a problem, is not the answer at the slot receiver role. And I hope that they start to mix things up and not let him play 50, 70% of the snaps. They can't allow it to happen anymore. And the Steelers, I think this is it. I think this is the first complete game of the season that you're going to see from your Steelers. And like I said, I predict a 34-10 win with big numbers from your Pittsburgh Steelers. And could this be the first 400-yard plus game of the Matt Canada era? Yeah, you heard it here first, guys, here on Mike Drop Sports. This will be the first performance that the Pittsburgh Steelers have had under Matt Canada that will exceed 400 yards. This will be it, and you will see a different Steelers offense this week. You will see a different performance from your Pittsburgh Steelers, especially in the run game, now that they've found the right combination on that line, especially in the pass game. And I think you're going to see more play-action passes, and you're going to see a different Kenny Pickett, a more comfortable Kenny Pickett. And I think this is where the Steelers really set up and start to move and make that playoff push. As I said, I like them to be 12-5, 13-4 before the end of the season. Their schedule sets up for that. And go back and watch my video how I broke it down and why I think that that's the case. Go back and watch that. But let's wrap this up, guys. Again, 34-10 Steelers. I really, truly believe it. I really do. I really do. Let's just leave it at that. Let's see how it goes. Don't forget the live show Sunday after the game. We're going to be doing that one. Don't forget to keep watching the videos, liking, sharing, commenting. I appreciate all the comments. I love to answer the comments. Don't forget to do that. Share the shit out of it, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And let's continue to build the community. And it's been growing. We're way over 700 now, I think. So we're starting to really get toward that 1,000 subscriber mark. And Sunday, hopefully we'll get some extras, and hopefully we'll get some people that'll start subscribing on Sunday for the live shows. Maybe that'll be a good event for to gain more subscribers. So until next time, guys, peace.